look, you see the alignment assignment, where a year ago, he'd be into his first week of training camp. So right away, he's got a much better feel for the technique he's supposed to be playing. We're not in pads yet, and I think we'll begin to see other areas. But the second year into it, I think he's a lot more comfortable with where he's aligned and the technique involved.
So would you say something about Eli Apple as far as the second year going through?
Yeah, because he was really mid-season, during the year. But yeah, and he's someone that picks things up pretty quick. But I would definitely say the same.
With Mark as that coach, Javon said he's a lot stronger than he looks. That's something you got to see in the way from out of it.
Yeah, and he's one of those naturally strong players that now you got to begin to utilize it a little bit and how you leverage your length and take advantage of it. And he played a lot from a 2-point stance in college, and so that transition to more of a 3-point stance here is part of it.
Considering Sheldon and whatever happens with him, the injuries, how important will Marcus's role be in terms of that pass rush and leaning on him?
Yeah, look, real quick, Sheldon's progressing. He's ahead of schedule, and if I had a game I'd give you that game, but hopefully it's earlier than later. But meanwhile, you're counting on everyone else to step up, including the inside players. So we haven't quite gotten to that third down day, which is coming here in 2 days, and now all of a sudden you get more of your sub-rush combinations on the field, your best 4 rushers, best 5 rushers. They could be ends and they could be tackles. Some guys, are pretty good inside on your third down looks.
You say if you could give a game, no chance he comes back during training camp, right? Is that 2 weeks?
Well, I think that's a little early, yeah.
Are you excited about the pads going on tomorrow?
Yeah, we are. Hopefully the weather holds up and we can, be outside on a Sunday for our fans. But yeah.
Coach, do you view Latavius Murray as a compliment to Alvin or just another starter that happens to be behind a really good start?
Look, you know how we feel just about playing those players and the importance of having depth at that position. So I view him as a guy that we really like. What we saw, we've got a vision for the things we think he does well, and our job is to, put him in those positions. But, look, is one player taking exactly Mark Ingram's reps? I can't tell you that right now. And yet I know that, I think there's that presumption that Alvin's going to get more, and I think our pitch count and how we played and utilized him has been really good. Now, occasionally we might get a return from him, or early in the season last year, his numbers were a little up because we were without Mark. So, but Latavius is a good football player, and we're glad that he's here.
We talk about playing to a player's strengths, and we saw Latavius catch a ball. Historically, that has been a big part of his.
Yeah, and so look, we'll see how that progresses. But you have to have some versatility, and he's shown that. Whether it's the underneath throws, he knows who he's blocking. I think he's pretty good in protection. So how much in the passing game, I think, is still to be determined.
When you all traded for Teddy last year, you obviously liked him, but now that he's been here a season and off season, is it fair to say you like him even more? What more
Absolutely.
do you like about him?
No, absolutely. I think with Teddy, number one, I love all the intangibles that are necessary to play that position. He's real smart. He's a fantastic leader. I mean, he's a guy the players really look up to, and I thought today's practice with him was really good. So he's got some of those it things that you look for, those traits that carry onto the field with his teammates, and Taysom does as well. And so it's a pretty good room right now.
Did you know that before Teddy got here? That
I did only because of my relationship with Mike Zimmer and Parcells, who's real close to Teddy.
Did you kind of fear losing him this offseason?
Sure I did, yeah. I mean, I was down in the Bahamas and had a 4-hour meeting with his agent who happened to be down in the Bahamas at the same time. I drove to see him, and yeah, we wanted to keep him here. I mean, it was important. Unfortunately, we were able to do that.
Sean, what goes into kind of establishing the time in between a quarterback and a new receiver? Drew said yesterday it's kind of like picking up the nuance of
yeah,
that.
Depth of routes, you know, the breaks, how they come out of cuts. There's subtle things, you know. All the receivers are going to understand how to run a certain out break or a certain inside break, but you know how to handle the zone coverages, how to handle the man coverages, you know, when a play's changed. So there is a lot, and you'll see him right now working through some of that. It might be something that happened in practice that he wants to clean up post-practice with a tight end, a running back, or a receiver. And so if you added up the amount of time with, and you looked at all the tight ends that he's played with, all the receivers, all the running backs, and you took some of these guys like Brady or Drew, you know, you'd be in the hundreds of post-practice timing, you know, so there's a lot that goes into it.
Sean, when you guys reviewed last season, what did you attribute how the passing offense was so good for 3 months and then really kind of dropped off in December?
I didn't look. I know that's been a hot button topic in this camp, but man, when you get into the course of the season like that, and you're playing and you're playing for a playoff push, and you know, we're looking at winning games now. Of course, you'd love to be able to win a game like we did at Cincinnati each week, but that's not reality. We played some tough-fought, close games early in the year. I mean, Baltimore came down to it was a low-scoring game, PAT. So fortunately, our balance was good, our time of possession was good. You know, all those other things. And I'm sure there's plays that you look at. I can think of a few plays where there was a penalty, a touchdown was called back, but for us, it's more about, you know, what we need to do to win that game, and that's really the truth.
And with Drew in particular, obviously appears ageless at times, but how closely do you monitor what he can still do?
I don't. Nothing's changed that way. Obviously, we evaluate the film and watch it closely, but you know, it's not like we've had to go in a different direction. Look, when we've been able to have balance on this team and play good defense and create turnovers, it's been a pretty good formula for us, and that goes back to 06, 09, even 11, 13. So, you know, playing a complementary game means that, and I think that, you know, our group up front played well last year, so each week presents a different challenge.
Sean, what did you attribute the run defense and the success? Just being disciplined, the run fits?
Yeah, listen, credit the players and the coaches. And we played some good running teams too. But I think that, you know, that comes, you know, you start the season and you have some success, and then, or if you don't, you quickly got to get it corrected. But I think we began to really play to that strength and force teams maybe to be a little bit more one-dimensional. So, you know, look, I know you're in for a long game or a long season. If there's one thing you can't do is stop the run, there's not a lot that's going to happen that's positive, right? And so that was encouraging. You know, our discipline, our fits up front, our linebacker play, and obviously your safety support.